I'm Richard Cheshire, the Cheshire Catalyst. I've been a friend of the firm since 1994, the first Hope Conference, when I walked into a really messed up registration that was trying to get a photo ID system going. I just stepped in, started handing out chits, sent people into the talks, and said, come back later for registration. You need to go to the conference. Since then, I've been a friend of the firm, and they've offered me the lead-off role of one of the tracks for the past few Hopes. I feel very honored for that, and I want to thank the committee for that. Now, to give you just a moment, we've had some trouble getting set up here. I need to go to websites, funfriendly.com directory, H12, and then the index. Now, if you care to follow along on your mobile phone web browser, please visit h12.mobi, H12 decimal MOBI, Mike Oscar Bravo India. I'm also a ham radio operator, and so the use of internet kinetics is just second nature to me. Let me see. What about this file? Firefox, of course. My web browser of choice. And let's see, are we actually let's see if we're actually now. There's trouble getting on the net from this far down deep inside the Hotel Pennsylvania. And so I'm going to do it off of the file. My phone drive. Now notice that on this H12.mobi we have the schedule for the conference, the Circles of Hope. There are 3 numbers, 1, 2, and 3. They're on every page of this website. And if you have an older feature phone that actually has a touch-tone dial on the front of the phone, when you bring up this webpage, you can press one of those numbers and it will take you to where you want to go. We want to go to number 1, Friday's schedule. Now again, if you have an older phone, let's cheat, because I'm not actually on the web. I'm going to H12/07-20, which is the directory under H12 where I have my pages, index.htm. There should be a Circle of Hope logo here, but you can't find it because the web's not connected. Now you'll notice that I have AM and PM with the various hours of the schedule. And the reason for this is so that if you have an older feature phone with a 5-way navigator, you can simply navigate to the hour you want, click on that hour, in this case 11 a.m., and there on Friday at 1100 hours in the Ritchie room, we find the Cheshire Catalyst, me, watch you go into a dotMOBI website. Now, wouldn't it be interesting if you could just click on this and find the notes from Cheshire's talk? I can't because I'm not online, but if you're actually looking at your phone and have come to this page, you should be able to click on that and actually read the notes from Cheshire's talk. So I'm going to have to look in cheat, go back to my page 12, the talks directory, and go to Cheshire.html. This is where we should be. It's what I should have on the screen from the net, but we don't have web access, so we're following my motto. I should explain my motto. When in Rome, do as the British do. Fake it. And that's what I'm doing here. So the title I'll go back out to the actual hope.net website, to the speaker page, and bring up the title of the talk. This link for speaker will take you to the regular hope.net speakers page and show you my short bio there. But we're going to bypass now and simply say that I don't like apps. Apps require you to have a certain operating system. Usually it's either the iOS operating system or the Android operating system on your phone. Why should I limit you to that? If you have an older feature phone, let's say a Nokia with their proprietary operating system, but they have a web browser, you should still be able to get the information you're looking for. That's why I create websites and not apps. So, We're at the introduction. I've already thanked the speaker committee for including me again in hope. I need to a few flight levels. Control shift plus sign to bring the word and read the space. These lights are displaying me. I apologize. By the way, I work best with questions. Feel free to throw questions at me at any time during the talk. Web pages versus that. We'll discuss that. What is a TLD? A top-level domain. In this case, the dotMOBI portion of the web address. I like to say these days that dotMOBI is the .com for mobile phone browsers. And just not for mobile devices, rather. Mobile phones and tablets. They both fall into that. Of course, you can bring it up on a laptop as well, as we're doing here. And in fact, it's a little large, so we're going to reduce the size of the screen a bit, just to make it easier to maneuver. And you'll see that as I slide back and forth, that the text will slide around so as to make it more legible within the mobile device. That's, again, the beauty of using a web page and not an app. Now, old phones are not necessarily obsolete phones. If a phone has a web browser, it should be able to read your web page. Now, what can phone browsers do that desktop and laptop browsers cannot do? One of the things is a tel tag. Now, you know the mail-to tag, mail-to colon example at .com. And that will take you to your email package, Outlook or Yahoo Mail or Gmail, depending on how you set up your web browser. And you can send an email just by clicking on the address in a web page. Well, the tel allows you to find a telephone number with the same kind of format, TEL colon and the number. In this case, I've got the phone number 202-762-1401. If you click on this with a desktop browser, it'll probably say, I don't know how to deal with it, unless you've installed Skype on your computer. Skype has gone in and has updated the web browser so that when it sees a telephone number, it will try and bring up Skype. I think my article in 2600 may have helped them figure out how to do that a couple of years ago. So hopefully I was the one that pushed that snowball down the hill. When you click on these, it will go to your, well, it may ask you which application in your phone do you want. Just tap on phone, send, and up will come Durward Kirby, the former announcer of Gary Moore's I've Got a Secret television program, who was recorded by the U.S. Naval Observatory and is the voice of the Naval Observatory's master clock. He will read you the time in Eastern Daylight, or Eastern Standard, depending on time of year, and in Universal Time Coordinated. UTC is an abbreviation that is inconvenient in both English and French, and so it was agreed upon. Also, I tend to like the international date format of year, month, day, hour, minute, second, because not only is that human readable, it's computer sortable. It's a nerd thing, I understand that. Not only that, I'm a licensed nerd. Ham radio license N4SCY. By the way, there will be a ham examination on Sunday afternoon. At noon today, they're giving you tips on how to get past the exam up on the 6th floor. I think it's the Budapest room, but you can find out. And I highly suggest taking the test, getting a ham license, and getting on the air. Much fun. Lots of interesting people, too. Now, when I set up various menus, for example, at the bottom of most pages, let's see, like at the bottom of the schedule page where we have 1, 2, and 3, there is a component in the H reference for the access key. Access key equals, quote, 1. And so when people tap the 1 on their touchtone dial, or if you hit Control-Alt-1 on your desktop keyboard, it will then trip that access key and send you to that web page. So the access key allows somebody with a mobile phone browser who's looking at a website to choose menu choices. If you visit yn61.mobi, YN is for Yuri's Night. 1961 is the year Yuri Gagarin achieved orbit as the first human in space. And if you go through that menu tree, you hit, I think it's 4 for North America, within that 3 for United States, and then I had a problem. 50 states plus assorted territories, how could I get that down to a 0 to 9 menu choice so you could just push a button on the touchtone dial on an older feature phone? Let me see. The question becomes, what is the first digit of your zip code? And that then becomes a 0 to 9 menu choice. The second page of that is the states or territories within that group. For the number 1, you'd have Delaware, Pennsylvania, and New York. For the number 2, you'd have DC, Virginia, et cetera, et cetera. And that was one easy way of dealing with that problem. Let me see now. Where are we? Oops. So that's the tell tag. Oh, the text tag. If you want to text Cheshire, send me a text message while you're on this page, you can click on that. It should ask you which app again, depending on how many apps you have for text messaging, and just choose one. It will drop my telephone number into the send area and ask for your email address so I can email you back when you send me the text message. You've got the body component, I believe there's the subject component, and these are ways of being able to put these sorts of things into a web page that somebody coming in on their mobile phone will be able to access and interact with your page and with you. Now, Fave Icon is the next little subject I'd like to cover. When you bring up a web page these days, you'll find that there's a tab at the top of the page. And besides the title of the page, very important because when you bookmark a page, that title becomes the title of the bookmark. It will usually also grab whatever is your fave icon, favicon.ico. Excuse me. Now the best way to prepare a fave icon is to take your favorite image, bring it up in Paint, and save it as a bitmap. It helps if it's a square shape. And let's see, because we're not on the net, I can't bring up my usual display that I planned on bringing up. But at icons2go.us, you'll find my page for coming up with icons for myself and for other people. And it's a great way of coming up with icons yourself. Just like I said, bring them into Paint, save them as a bitmap, and then rename the .bmp file as .ico. Just FTP that image into the main index directory of your website, you're done. The web browsers then take over, and when they bring in a web page, they look for a fave icon. If they find it, that little image goes up in the tab. And when you bookmark the page, that goes in with the bookmark to identify the bookmark. If you tell your device, save this web page to my main screen, that icon becomes the icon on the main screen so you can find it among all the other icons you have on your main screen. If you've visited the h12.mobi and hit the 3 dots in the upper right hand corner and find the save to my home page, you'll find a small icon of the Hope logo that will now appear on the home page of your phone, so you'll be able to find the schedule very easily. Now, in Brevard County, Florida, where I'm at, I got roped into webmastering a page called museumsofbrevard.org. And I went out and found a little icon for a museum. That becomes an icon for that. Copa.mobi, if you look at that website, that was, well, I have to explain about Copa.mobi. I am a soccer fan. When I was stationed in Germany with the U.S. Army, I went to a soccer match while I was there. Standing 90 minutes into the southwest corner of the Kaiserslautern Football Club Stadium with the rowdy crowd. I didn't know that they were called Vuvuzelas at the time, but they were there. I had to wait until the 2010 World Cup in South Africa to find out what they were called, but I remember them. But it was at that soccer match I realized soccer was the world's game. So in 1993, I lived near Orlando, Florida, they were looking for volunteers for this World Cup thing, and I'm thinking, what American in his right mind is going to volunteer Wait a minute, I'm not in my right mind. Hello? So I go down to volunteer, and they say, what can you do, kid? Oh, well, I'm a bit of a computer hacker. EDS Computing is running all the stuff for the World Cup. We've got computer people of the proverbial. What else can you do? Oh, well, I'm a ham radio operator. Have I got a job for you? I became the chief radio operator at the Citrus Bowl for the World Cup. Much fun. It's been lots of brownie points ever since, whenever I can mention that to soccer fans from around the world. And since then, I've tried to keep my hand in by running websites with the World Cup on it. Can't find advertisers for it, but I keep trying. And this year, copa.mobi is the web address I bought and will be my World Cup site for all the World Cups to come. Next year will be World Cup, the FIFA Women's World Cup 2019 France. And that will take over on copa.mobi next year. If you know anybody who wants to advertise and have their own branded World Cup site, just have them call me, dial 321 liftoff. Yes, that's my phone number. We'll get into that a little bit. And from there, the website, following every goal in the tournament, I would update the site with those scores, and I'm willing to do that for any World Cup. If you visit o-city.mobi, o-city.mobi, you'll find a schedule for the Orlando City Soccer Club, my home team. And if you go to the About page, you'll find a disclaimer. This is a fan-generated website. It is not operated by FIFA, Major League Soccer, the National Women's Soccer League, or the Easter Bunny. And then under that, in slightly smaller print, rumors regarding Santa Claus will be neither confirmed or denied. And if you click on the name Santa Claus there, up comes a picture of me in a Santa Claus costume with a little dog and the logo of the pet supermarket in Titusville, Florida. So, other of the volunteer things I do. Let's see, spacyideas.com is the web address I came up with after the Wall Street Journal wrote an article about my area code. Yes, I have my own area code. It is 321, and it's mine. When they split 407 many years ago, I'm the guy that showed up at the Public Service Commission hearing, and I explained to them, Cape Canaveral, the countdown capital. Shouldn't that get 321? And by the way, here's the information from the North American Numbering Plan Administration showing it's available. So the way I look at it is, I asked for it, they approved it. Doesn't that mean it's my area code? But I share. But I did save the best number for myself. 321 liftoff. So if you need me to help you with coming up with a fave icon, or coming up with a website for your soccer team or other sports team's schedule, again, give me a call, 321 liftoff. I'd be happy to help. And you can take a look at how I've done museumsofbrevard.org, which is available on this notes page here. Basically, I wish I could bring it up. It has the name and address of the museum and an image. And then the next line, they're swapped around, name and address, and then the image on the other side, and then they just alternate down the page. It's about the only thing I do for graphics, considering. And then in between those two cells of the table, I've got the location and any icons for social media that they have, Twitter, Facebook, what have you, and the map icon for what 3 words. Now, I would like to promote what3words.com. Their short address is w3w.co. If you bring that up, click on explore the map, and then click on the usual My Location symbol, it will find you. It will come up with 3 simple words separated by dots that you can give to anyone else, and they can then find where you're at by those 3 words. You can tap on the image there and hit the share symbol and send it via text messaging or email or what have you. And so if you're both going to be in Central Park, you just don't know where, the one person goes to w3w.co, go to the map, find let it find where you are, share that via text message, and then your friend can tap on the received URL, which will then show them where in the park you are. And you can use that to find yourselves and get together in strange locations like that. I highly recommend that. Let's see, contact icons. Again, the let me see if I can bring up my icons page, icons2go.us, which is the web address for that. Just the images directory. I didn't transport all of this over. No, my apologies. I saved some simple icons for use on the page. That won't do it. Instagram logos, yeah, that was that there. W will be just for the Wikipedia logo, for sending people off to those. Let's see what else I've got. No, I don't. Copa.mobi. This was the main logo of the World Cup, which was as if Fabergé had designed the World Cup trophy. And then these are the list of 32 nations that were in this year's World Cup. Unfortunately, the flags are not coming up because it's set up to go to the net to grab the flags. The group letters, if you're familiar with the World Cup at all, the 32 nations are grouped into 8 groups of 4 teams each. Each team plays the other 3 times. There's 3 matches per group play. In Group A, let's see, /groups/A. Okay, we'll not go through that now. But the entire page is formatted completely for the mobile phone web browser to be able to view. What you see as squares with the 3-letter codes for the countries should be showing you the flags of those countries. The 3 letters are actually in the alt of the image tag. The numbers on the left-hand side are the match numbers. The reason I have to use the match numbers is because down at the round of beyond the round of 16 in the quarterfinals, you'll see W49 versus W50. The winner of match 49 plays the winner of match 50, which in this case was Uruguay versus France, and France won that one 2-0. So as long as I needed to have the match numbers so that you knew which ones we were talking about, I put match numbers for alongside each and every match. And what I did was if you click on the actual number, it will take you out to FIFAWorldCup.com to that particular match so you could look up the details. But again, we're not on the net here, so I can't do that. But for those of you surfing at home, you can follow along on that. Oh, there's a couple of the flags, Sweden and England. I must have actually worked on this one for the editing and put them into this particular version. Our archives include the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, the 2015 Women's World Cup, and the 2017 Confederation Cup. Now, before the Men's World Cup every 4 years, the year before that, FIFA runs the Confederation Cup to test the stadiums so that the local organizing committee can figure out actually how to run a World Cup. Let's see. I think this pretty much concludes my talk. And do I have any other questions out there? Okay.
Tags you should stay away from?
What's that?
Are there tags you should stay away from? You know, you said you use cables. Are there other HTML code that you should use for mobile sites?
Well, most HTML tags will work on phone browsers because they're usually stripped down versions of desktop browsers, so they know how to do most things. The thing is that some things didn't get translated from phones up to the desktop browsers, like the tel tag. That's why Skype had to go in and do something strange once I showed them how. And any questions on these, please feel free to drop me an email, cheshire@ph2.mobi. Phone Friendly is the website with PHs on both words. And the short form